Aha! I bet you thought that I forgot to review the V4.5s. Well, it's been a few weeks since I last reviewed any AirPods replicas, so I can't really blame you for that. But I am back, this time with the best AirPods Pro replica on the market as of February 2021. These are the upgraded HiCity V4.5s, which has the latest Aero F1562A chipset and has fixed loads of issues that are present on the previous version of the V4.5s. For just $65, this has active noise cancellation, transparency mode, improved audio quality, massively improved build quality, and even spatial audio, which is basically everything we've ever asked for. Well, except for the spatial audio. Nobody asked for that. Okay, first we'll start off with the unboxing. Let's just get with it. Now, as I've suspected, HiCity has an extra box with not only his name, but a different pair of earbuds on it. We open this up. You can see that the real AirPods box is inside here. Now it has two stickers instead of one or three like some other ones I saw, but it's still looking quite nice. Printing on the back is really nice, really crisp, and one thing I noticed is that they really amped up the plastic wrapping on these. Now, AirPod replicas usually had really bad plastic wrapping. They would be wrinkled all around the corners, they'd be ripped, they'd have holes on them. Although this one has a little tiny hole right here, this is a really well sealed pair of AirPods, the best one I've seen so far. Now, there's a little pull tab on here. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it doesn't work. Most of them don't have working pull tabs, which isn't not too bad. The unboxing of this is really such a nice experience. Box slides right out. Now the manual has a little bit of a flaw, nothing really that noticeable, but it is good enough to prevent scammers from getting away with selling these as retails, which does happen often. And if you're thinking about it, don't do it. The manuals all seem nice. This one's cut a little bit weird on the top, but I think it's generally very nice. The AirPods is underneath, inside the little plastic covering as always. And under that is the USB-C to Lightning cable. I actually bought myself a $10 USB-C plug just to use these chargers, and to be honest, it's not that bad of an investment, although I recommend you get one that also has a USB port. And now, beneath that is finally the ear tip holder. Now, I bought myself a set of retail AirPod Pro ear tips because, yes, I'm that kind of person, and the interesting thing is, they have progressed quite a lot from the previous generation. If you look, you'll see that this version now actually has a holder that holds the ear tips together so it won't fall out when you tilt it, which is a great improvement from the flimsy paper holders of yesteryear. Now that we're done with all that, we'll take a closer look at the AirPods Pro themselves. It feels very nice and heavy in the hand. It doesn't feel like a fake AirPod replica anymore. If you turn to the back, we can see the Apple text, which is slightly off center, and it has a silent clicking button. It barely makes any sound when you click it. Now, the material of the hinge can use some improvement. It went from sandblasted metal to sort of sparkly silver metal for some reason. They had it down in the previous version, but on this one they seem to have changed it to a different one. The charging port is flush with the rest of the case and feels very nice, but the biggest difference lies when you open the case. It feels so good. The reverse magnet has been massively improved in this version. Previous AirPod replicas had a real problem with the hinge being unstable and shaking around when you move it, but this one just straight out refuses to budge at all. And also, as you can see, the reverse magnetic lid is leaps and bounds ahead of the previous generation, which would just shut if you shook it too hard. This one won't shut or budge no matter how hard you shake it, which is really impressive. I can't really describe how good this feels through the video, but one thing I could say is that it feels extremely satisfying. Now if you look at the inside without the pods, we could see that the hinge's shape has been improved. However, it is still a bit off. While on AirPods Pros, the hinge should be divided into 3 parts, on this one is just one solid shape. If we look, we could see the little serial number that does match the one on the side of the box, and all the rest of the printing is very nicely done. It's not smeared, it's not halfway printed like some other replicas I've seen so far. It is down pat. This is the best build quality I've ever seen on any AirPods replicas so far. Okay, we're running out of time, let's check the pods. The pods are pretty nice looking. The top vent is made entirely of plastic, while the side vent looks more like an actual metallic grill. It is a sticker vent though, so be a little careful with that. The text on the bottom of the pod has matching serial numbers, same as the case and box, and on the right pod is printed just a little bit tilted. Now, it is a known issue on all recent AirPods Pro replicas that sometimes the ear tips are stuck very tightly with glue. I made a little video showing how to fix that, and if that problem ever happens to you, you could go check that out right there. Okay, let's weigh them. The case should weigh 45.6 grams and the pods 5.4 grams each. Well, it seems that the sellers prefer having things a little heavier than retail because the case is quite a bit heavier than it should be at 50 grams, with the pods being lighter at just about 4 grams each. It still adds up to 58 grams, which is still heavier than the normal weight of 56.4 grams. And personally, I like it better that way. Ooh, now here's something I haven't seen in a while. I bought this caliper all the way back in January 2020, but forgot about it until now. Oops. The thickness of the case is on the button at 21.7 millimeters. The height is a little bit off from the 45.2 millimeters it should be, and the width is about half a millimeter off. Remember, 0.4 millimeters is about the thickness of your fingernail, so this difference will be in no way noticeable even when compared side by side. However, I do recommend that you steer away from hard cases or cases with hard plastic insides because there's always a chance that it may not fit, just like this one. You'd be better off buying a softer case like this silicone one or one of these square ones that stay on quite nicely. These protect the AirPods better anyways. Okay, you probably skipped through all that technical stuff already, so let's see the functionalities of this AirPod right now. This of course works just like normal AirPods Pro would. Open them up and the pop-up appears on the phone. Go into the settings and of course you could rename it to whatever you'd like. And the name then rides over to any other device you connect it to. The press controls are also completely customizable, of course. By the way, the ear tip fit test doesn't work, so don't bother messing with it. It seems that these case manufacturers take away one small detail for each big feature they implement, although in this case, I'm thankful that it's something insignificant like the ear tip fit test. And what's this? The About page. Yes, this long coveted feature is finally here. AirPods replica makers were not able to get this feature for such a long time, but now they have done it, and so well that the serial number even matches the one on the case. Great! Before I continue, I have to mention that some of the more recent versions, such as this one, has the ability to update the firmware, which allows you to be up to date on the latest tweaks and changes, such as more efficient battery usage, better audio quality, and so on. Upgrading it isn't too difficult, but it takes a while and it is a bit risky, so if you want to do that for yourself, you could go watch the video I link up there or in the description below. This change also allows the V4.5s to support spatial audio. But unfortunately, the iPhone SE I'm using doesn't support it at all, so I can't show it to you. These units have upgraded from the touch sensors of yesteryear to the real force touch controls of this year, so you might have to press a little harder than before for the touch controls to work. The controls are pretty straightforward. On most devices, one click for the left or right pod pauses or plays the music or video you have on. However, the controls differ by app. For example, on a Google Meet call, a single press will hang up the call, so you have to be really careful about figuring out what does what on each program. Double-clicking will skip to the previous track on the left earbud and skip to the next track on the right earbud. Left for back, right for forward, pretty obvious stuff. Now, long pressing on either earbud will cycle through transparency mode, active noise cancellation mode, and nothing mode. This is sometimes reduced to just transparency mode and noise cancellation mode on certain devices, such as this iPhone 4 I'm using as an iPod. Before we go on, I have something to say. Well, the thing is, the battery on these pods are supposed to last around 4 to 5 hours on each charge, and all the other people who got it have reported it as such. But when I tested them out, they only lasted around 1.5 to 2 hours before getting disconnected. I'm not sure if this is a software issue or a defect, but I do want to tell you that I never noticed this while actually using it and only found out when I was purposely draining the battery for the battery test. You will most likely get the correct unit with 4 to 5 hour battery life, but I just want to say that my specific unit didn't really make it up to expectations. Now, after the battery test comes the microphone test. I'll use recordings from several different devices to let you compare and see for yourself how the microphone is on the V4.5s. So to start off, this is how the microphone sounds like on the Canon D500, which is recording this video in the first place. This is what the mic sounds like on the AKG Lyra, which is the microphone that's being used to record this audio. This is what the microphone sounds like recorded on the Galaxy A30. Here's the sound recorded by the iPhone SE. Now here's the sound recorded by the HiCity V4.5s while I have them in my ear. It's not bad. It just sounds like a normal phone call, but you're definitely not going to do any recording on these. Now, of course, you want to know more about how good the noise cancelling and transparency mode is. I've used these for a few weeks and I'll try to describe my experience as best as I can. I'll start with transparency mode because it's easier to describe. Basically, what transparency mode does is to use the microphones to let outside sounds into your ears so you can pick up on conversations and stuff while still listening to your music in private. And what can I say? It works great. It does a really great job at syncing the outside noise in real time, so there are no noticeable delays in what's going on outside and what's coming in my ears. While I listen to music in medium loud volume, it's good enough that I could still pick up on conversations that are going on outside. I'll let you hear for yourself how it sounds. I tried to emulate the effect as best as I could. Now that we turn on transparency mode, everything's a lot clearer, and as you could see, here, you can still listening to what I'm saying, even with music coming into your ears. Don't use transparency mode when you're running or it's windy though, because as you can hear, it doesn't sound pretty. Also, it's worth mentioning that if you use these in direct sunlight, the in-ear sensors can sometimes get confused and randomly pause and play your music. You could disable the in-ear sensors in the settings to prevent this from happening. Now, with active noise cancellation, a bunch of old issues have been fixed. For example, a serious issue where there'd be severe static noises when noise cancelling was on has been fixed, and also the speed bump crackle issue, not going to explain in detail here, has also been mostly fixed. The noise cancellation is also very nice, although it is worth mentioning that it works best on long droning sounds like a car engine or a washing machine. When you turn it on, it sort of feels like it's pressurizing your head a little bit, and it makes a sound like this. This might feel a bit uncomfortable for some people, although I have to say, you do get used to it after a while. Here's a little example done with sounds recorded while driving. As you can hear, my voice isn't really reduced too much, although the car sounds have been wiped out considerably. And I take off the earbuds in 3, 2, 1, and you could immediately hear the difference. It's really surprising when you feel it for the first time. You know, when these features like active noise cancellation didn't exist on AirPod Pro replicas yet, I never really thought much about it. But now that it's there and I've tried it for myself, I could never go back. So if you're wondering whether it's worth the extra $30 to upgrade from the AirPod 2 replicas to the V4.5s, I'd say go for it. The sound quality in general on the V4.5s is really good. All the vocals are nicely incorporated into the music left and right, and the bass actually feels like it's vibrating in your ears rather than just playing a bass sound. I don't like it, but you probably will. In conclusion, are these worth $65? And I'd say, definitely. The previous versions were a bit iffy, and the lack of functions and quality made me think that the price would be more suited at around $40 or $50, but these really feel like $250 earbuds. And at this point, I think it's about as good as it would get for quite a while. I mean, of course there's going to be minor upgrades and improvements down the road, but if you buy these now, you won't be missing out on much in the future. Thanks for watching. This video took a ridiculously long time to make because of Chinese New Year and review sample issues and all that, but I will be uploading much more often in the future. And I'd appreciate it if you could take a look at this little mini doc I made, tell me your opinions on it, and I will be seeing you in the next video.